seriously here. And Dr. Holmes said that. He said, I don't take myself seriously, but I take what I'm doing seriously. So if I can model accepting myself even as a knucklehead, I think that's more valuable than trying to go and, beat myself up for being a perfectionist. What do you think? Yeah. Right? Come on. Ay, ay, ay. So please repeat after me. Today is the most glorious day of my life.
Today is the most glorious day of my life.
Because I am the place where love resides.
Because I am the place where love resides.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
So feel that. Because you are the power that named it, that claimed it. Feel that. It's not outside. It is shared. It flowed. If we could, we would see ribbons of energy flowing through this community, connecting us at a heart level. If we had the capacity to see that activity, and we would remember, and we would be reminded regularly that you and I are never alone. We're never alone. Not only are we not alone because we're in community, we're not alone because that ribbon of connection didn't start with us. It started at the beginning. And so we're just plugging in. We're just plugging into this ribbon of connection. And whether you're on Zoom or you're here in the room, it's the same thing. And that connection, I just want to speak to the power of community. That connection and the power of community is one of the most healing aspects that are available to you, and it's important that we tap into it. It's so important because we can't go it alone. Now you can have your song.
You know what that means, right? Get up! This is the day. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hey, that's spirit, hey, I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, that's spirit, hey, I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, that's spirit, hey, I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, that's spirit.
some vitamins. You just took some medication. You just had a therapy session. You just had a prayer, because anything that causes those kind of smiles on your face, anything that makes you want to jump up and down and clap your hands, anything that makes you glow is medicine. Just like Thai song, love is medicine?
Good medicine. Love's good medicine.
Love is good medicine. That's what you just got. You just got a dose. Feel your body, right? Like literally right now. Pay attention to your body. Isn't it tingling with all good stuff? That's when we heal. That's another beautiful thing of being together. And that's another beautiful thing about even tuning in. So, as you know, we are continuing with the first four instructional chapters of the textbook. And last week I gave you this metaphor of to guide you through them. So the first part of the metaphor had to do with wanting to get downriver to someplace, and yet you found yourself sitting on the bank of a river. There was a canoe there, and there were paddles, but you were just kind of looking at them like, oh, okay. Not connected, not using what's possible. And so today is the day where we're going to get into the canoe, and although we might be using the paddles, we might be paddling upstream a little bit, where there's a little extra energy, right? There's a little extra energy when we have to go upstream against the current. At least you're feeling a little empowered to get in the canoe, to pick up the paddles, and some part of you knows, oh, okay, I can do this. Mary, did you get out on those waves, those 20-foot waves a couple of weeks ago? Our friend Mary Riley here, God bless her. I always think she's 20 years younger than she is, and she surfs. And I heard about those 20-foot waves on the Jersey Shore. If you haven't seen them, Google it or YouTube it. It's fascinating what happens. So I'm glad you have pictures. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're safe. We can Photoshop you in. That's true.
Now we can do anything.
This is true. It's funny, I'm going to go off script for a second. It's really fascinating with AI and CGI, right, CGI? How, Computer generated imagery, yeah, CGI. How untrusting I am now when I see things. I'm watching a movie last night with an actor. Now, he's not a great actor. But we're watching this, and I'm saying to Neil, he looks generated. Like his eye movements were so like shifty and stuff. I'm like, I'm almost not buying that it's him. I think it was him, but that's what happens. Makes it worse for him. I used to feel that after I went to Disney World enough times, and you see an elephant that's not an elephant. So already that was working on me. But now it's a little scary. I've been saying to you for 20 years, question everything. Now I'm saying to you, question everything. Don't get sucked in. Question everything, especially authorities. So as we grow in consciousnness, we enable ourselves to be more potent in ways that you might not have been able to imagine when you were sitting on the bank of the river and the canoe was there and the paddles were there. Now you're starting in this week's chapter, and now as we begin to shift a little, we begin to think, I can do something about that. I'm not at the mercy of my life. That's a good step, right? It's a good step. It's in the right direction. In the textbook, Holmes says, the thing then works for us by working through us and is us, always. It cannot work for us in any other way. It spreads itself over the whole universe and shouts at us from every angle. But it can become power to us only when we recognize it as power. Therefore, our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle, which of itself is without limit. So I used to have stories from a book on Tao, and I couldn't find it, but the other day, this is a true story, a colleague of mine told me about this client she had, and this individual was of the age to retire, but had this feeling that if he retired, he wouldn't keep functioning, he wouldn't stay in the world. And his wife was pretty much attached to him retiring, so he had to battle that pressure. So then finally he did, he retired. Now remember, he was saying to she was a therapist, he was saying to her, I don't believe if I retire I'll continue to function. 2 days after retiring, he fell ill, and was dead in a year.
Oh my God.
The power of your individual beliefs, the power of what you and I subscribe to cannot be minimized in any way. You get that?
Yes.
You could go home now if you wanted to, because that is the key thing, and that is science of mind. It is done unto us as we believe. Okay, that's not new. It's as old as the hills. And yet, I still see us not buy into it. I still see us tempted by means of not taking responsibility. And this is one of the reasons why I speak so often about responsibility. Because when we take responsibility, it's like, the old metaphor, the old-fashioned keys. I know not everybody has the old-fashioned keys anymore, so often they're electronic. But when you put a key in a lock, unless that key is perfectly placed, it won't turn. You can force it all day long, it's not going to turn. But when you put it in perfectly, it turns easily, right? So when we take responsibility, it is you allowing yourself to take choosing to take responsibility so you can tap into the power of change and transformation. Now, this is all good, and yet we're still a little bit at the mercy of other things. There's some other influences. And you know me, and I will continue to beat this drum forever. And that is, and I didn't know there were other people out there writing books about this. This is a book by a man named Terry D. Cooper, Making Judgments Without Being Judgmental. But he has a number of books on the subject. I watch as people cause pain in their own lives out of their unconscious judging of another. Even when we judge someone, if I say, you've done something against me, that judgment is going to cause my experience. If I, say, oh, well, Bill screwed up today because he didn't start the service right, and I put him in charge of me and my feelings, now what I've done is I've blamed him. He can pick it up or not. He's too smart to pick that up. But he could pick that up or not, but then I have disempowered myself to rise above the experience. Does that make sense? So I don't tell you to be non-judgmental because I want you, and I say this all the time, because I'm trying to get you to be some kind of holy guru. I want you to choose not to judge because your judgment jails you. Your judgment jails you. Your judgment holds you captive and creates the experience you're about to have. Does that make sense? It's not always easy. I don't mean to ever make things seem like they're so easy. But I do want them to seem extremely important, especially since I don't have much longer to tell you this. So in this book, this is responding with judgments versus reacting with judgmentalism. If I were going to name the biggest challenge, daily challenge of life, it would be learning to respond rather than react. When I am reacting, I am not working from my centeredness in grace. Instead, I am allowing outside factors to control my behavior. I really want you to hear that. When I react instead of respond, I'm allowing outside factors to control my behavior. How often do you let that happen? How often do you find yourself in a full-blown reaction? This is the whole basis for car rage? Road rage, thank you. Road rage. This is what happens when somebody looks at you weird and you have no idea what they're thinking. They're in some thought about something else, has nothing to do with anything. And you look at them and you say, ooh, what is she thinking about me? Why is she looking at me in that way? And we use, when we're in this position of by me, which is where I'm still, there's a little bit of to me, the victim consciousness, and then I'm trying to force it. But I have to look and I have to say, nope, I don't need to translate that. I don't need to make this wrong. But it takes your conscious participation. It takes you being awake enough to question that activity. Yes? Yes. Yes. This is what's required. If you want the dreams that you dream, then this is part of the path that gets you there. Otherwise, you're going to be off-road through drama, and off-road through blaming, and off-road through responsibility, by not taking responsibility. Your power is here. Say that. My power is here.
My power
is here. It's here. It's not because you think I'm something. It's not because you happen to like me. It's not because my husband loves me. It's not even because you came to gather. I'm not, in my love for you is wonderful, but it doesn't make you. Get that. Everybody?
Yep.
Get that?
Yep.
It almost makes it sound like we're alone in this, which is contrary to what I said, but I'm alone in my translation of my experience, and I want to experience that with you. So by me, the point of by me in the realms of consciousness as we progress, by me is where I start to realize, I have some power. Unfortunately, part of that power is me forcing it. Let me read on a little bit more from this book, though. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay. As a rule, judgmentalism does react rather than respond. Judgmentalism is almost always controlled by outside factors. When we become judgmental, we are often controlled by the very groups we fight. Outside enemies control our agenda. We can't leave them alone. They determine our thinking in that we must rail against them. We became far more able to tell others what we are against rather than what we are for. We may feel pushed around, and our paranoid defensiveness may snarl with yet another rebuke of something we must condemn. Thus, we are not free to initiate, share, or offer our perspective. We are compulsively driven to conquer anything that does not look like this. I have a first row seat to many people's lives on a one-to-one basis, in classes, the ministerial listserv, and in ways that I serve. And I gotta tell you, we haven't gotten this yet. We haven't completely gotten this yet. For Science of Mind teaching to be the powerful teaching that it is, you and I have to get this, have to act from this place, have to model this place. That's what we have to do. I babysat the other night for my grandson, and I don't know if I told you the story. Over Christmas, he got bit by a dog, a large dog. Had I told you this? My grandson is 75 pounds, soaking wet, adorable. The dog is 150 pounds, huge, mastiff dog. And he walked into this person's house, and the dog ran up and grabbed his hand, grabbed his, his hand and his wrist, and he broke some skin. And he did have a fracture, which at first we didn't see. And wasn't my only concern. My concern was also for his hand, but my concern was also for the ongoing. What's going to happen to my grandson's psyche about this? Right. And so the other night when I was babysitting, and he must have just been dozing off to sleep when his sweet, fluffy, golden retriever, who is like a mush, jumped on his bed to sleep with him. But when you're in that half state, scared the bejesus out of my grandson, and all of a sudden he's crying. I meant to tell you this. And I go into the bedroom, and he says, "Nana," this breaks my heart, because these are all my grandchildren are animal lovers. And he says, "Nana, I'm afraid now. I'm afraid all the time." So, of course, I talked to him about it, and I said to him, "Baby, every time you have this dream, you have to tell Mom and Dad. Every time." I said, "You don't want this energy stuck in you." And I started speaking to him in that way because I want him to understand. And then I said, "Do you want to talk to me about it?" And he said, "Yes." And it was interesting how his memory didn't even match up with the memory of the people who were around him, because he was so traumatized, it impacted his memory of what happened. So he is at the mercy of that unless we can help to be a midwife to a new idea for him. And that is by consistently turning to it and helping him not to take responsibility for the incident, God knows, but to take responsibility going forward, to remember you don't actually have to be afraid. It was very traumatizing for all of us. I gotta admit, I was angry for days. I was angry that this was even possible. But the point I'm trying to make here is that even I put something on Facebook the other day. When life throws you a curveball, put down the bat and pick up a glove and look at it with love. So we get to look at this, and William, if we do it right, we'll be able to support him in growing through it and not be at the mercy of this. But he needs to be consciously involved, even at his little 8-year-old self. Often we critique the fruit of the tree that we produce. Right? We do. Sometimes the fruit of the tree might be our children. Is that where you were going?
No.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
My children are perfect.
Oh, good. She said her children are perfect. Hallelujah. Sometimes, though, the fruit of the tree is a result of something you didn't realize you set in motion. So and we critique it instead of taking ownership of it. And when we take ownership of it, then we can have some power to transform it. Yes? Yes. You are powerful. Yes. You have what it takes. Yes. It's important that we stop thinking we are at the mercy of life. We're not. Some things are more difficult than others. I get that. I do. Your Invisible Power, I couldn't find the link for the book that I've been sending to people for years. This is Your Invisible Power by Ernest Holmes, and it is hands down one of the most mystical things he has ever written, right? It's just so beautiful. Get your hands on it if you can. Get your hands on it. Now, of course, for me, I really wish this whole thing would be rewritten, and I might, because I think it is in the public domain. I'd like to rewrite it gender neutral, but at another time. We did that with Sermon by the Sea. We could do it with this now. You want to help me? Cool. He says, to think is to create. You have already been thinking and creating. Now you wish to create good instead of evil. What's evil? Evil is a misuse of the law. Evil is a misuse of the law. Evil to us is not an entity. It's not something you're at the mercy of. Please be certain about that. You have the, now you wish to create, good instead of evil, abundance rather than limitation. You have this possibility within you, for the law within you is set in motion by the mind within you. The mind within you is God, spirit, life, love, energy, any word, okay? Having complete authority over the law. But you must reverse your use of this law. You must accept your freedom, announce your liberty, and proclaim your divine birthright. Hallelujah. Yes? Sometimes it's hard, I think, when we gather to realize how much we've grown. Because we are singing I'm singing to the choir here, and I know that. Maybe we know things at different levels, but God, if I took you as a group and I put you next to a group of completely unpracticed, unconscious individuals, you would suddenly go, whew, I got this going on. You would suddenly be feeling really good about yourself. Because what happens is I know that even while there might be times of struggle in your life, I know that there's a part of you that knows something else is possible. You might not always know how to get there, but you know something is possible, right? Right. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I'm going to go on just a little bit more. Whatever you believe to be true about God, spirit, love, energy, your word, declare to be the truth about yourself. Know that the power within you, which is God, is the law of good, establishing right action in your life. In this manner, you will gain dominion and exercise authority. To think is to create. A thinker is a creator. We live in the world of our own creation. You are a thinker, therefore you are a creator. So simple, and yet so difficult to implement. And it's difficult to implement because so often we are, I'm going to do this. I used to do this a long time ago. I want you to imagine, all right? The teaching symbol of the science of mind. We talked about it last week a little bit. So if I put my arms up, can you hear me? Wait. If I put all that is, the everywhere present, the undifferentiated stuff, I love that term. The undifferentiated stuff, it avails itself to me and through me. So as I name and claim it, it is going to pour itself through me, and it will actualize into the fruit that I'm happy with. To the fruit that I'm happy with, as long as I stay with that. So if I'm here and I say, oh my God, my life is hard and I have no money and I'm sick all the time, and guess what? Spirit is pouring itself through that. Because a square ice cube mold is not going to give you round ice cubes. It's not. A peach pit, I guess, is not going to give you blueberries. But if I do this and I say, I am the sacred recipient of all good, and the holy essence of all that is delivers through me as my life in the most beautiful and glorious ways. Wow. So it's the all that is, you call it forth, it delivers through you. Yes?
Yes.
And it's time for us to act this way. Not today, because at 11:15 I'm telling you that, but every day, every moment, every thought. You will be tested. Now, tested does not mean that there's a power outside seeing if you have enough faith, but it means where we are trying to push the edges of our faith and conviction, we will run into resistance, that it's just that unknown edge. And we have to stay with it. We just have to stay with it. So I wrote an affirmation I'm going to ask you to affirm with me for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to ask you, you can either stand or raise your right hand, because I'm asking you to make a promise, if you will. I promise you'll like it. It won't be anything bad. I promise myself to care for myself.
I promise myself to care for myself.
I promise to create healthy boundaries to keep myself safe.
I promise to create healthy boundaries to keep myself safe.
I promise to not take things personally.
I promise to not take things personally.
Or when I do, to grow from it.
Or when I do, to grow from it.
I promise to never again speak a word against myself.
I promise to never speak a word against myself.
I promise to take responsibility for my reactions.
I promise to take responsibility for my actions.
And grow in my personal power.
And grow in my personal power.
I promise to love and accept myself as I am and as I am not.
I promise to love and accept myself as I am and as I am not.
And I promise to honor the presence as me.
And I promise to honor the presence as me.
Thank you. You have all been duly ordained as brilliant and bold people. So let me close this with a treatment. And I would, if you're willing to, hold the hand of somebody next to you, even if you have to get up or shift, whatever that is.
I just coughed in my hand. I'm not holding your hand.
And we thank you for that. So please feel the vibration that is running through the hand that you're holding. Be present to the love that's in the room. Be present to how powerful you're feeling in this moment. Be present to the beauty of your being. And let us together, let us move together like this ebbing and flowing essence of good, of community, of love. Again, whether here in the room or the Zoom room, you and I are one in community, rising up to be potent, to be powerful, to be a model for possibility in the world. And this is a holy and sacred activity. As my heart remains open, I allow in the love, and I invite you to allow in more love than you have ever known before. Accept yourself as worthy of this love and call it good and very good. Spirit wants you and I to embrace the sacredness that empowers us. If you are willing to accept it, just whisper a sweet yes to yourself. And let that covenant guide you. Let that covenant be who you are. Oh, the beauty of this moment is rare in today's world, but it is potent. And so with a bounty of gratitude for all that is, I surrender this word to love and to law. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. Celine, you got a little percussion coming from the coffee pot in the back? I heard it start to tap. I'm like, who's tapping in the back of the room? It's the coffee pot. Love you all.
Love you back. In the land of I am all that I have been, I am all that I will be, I am all that I am. grandfathers and the dreams of all my great-grandfathers and the way to write me all the pain on you. In me, in the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. And the smile of all the younger children and the dreams of a better way to come and the yes of a heaven with the end all in, in me. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. When God in this space of you in this place, when God in this space of you in this place, they like you, the light can be seen through the land. You give for my voice in the land. You can't help me hurting the land. There is more than enough in the land. You're always at home. 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 In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. And songs of all my great-grandfathers, of all my great-grandfathers, to write the armor paid on this, all in, in me. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all that I am. In the land of I am, more than I have been, I am, more than I will be, I am, all